Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. Wheels and boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Rumpus in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smooth. What is up, guys? What is cracking? It's the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And that is exactly what we intend to do. And guys, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It is time for the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. And before I bring my co-host on, I have to say to you guys out there in the household, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. 400 episodes of In Your House. I was just sitting there. I was doing my little show notes and stuff, making sure I'm getting everything. The episodes is a lot of work doing what we do, ladies and gentlemen, making sure that we are putting out the content for you folks to put out there and listen to and vibe with that you guys do, and we appreciate it. And I was like, wait a minute, we're at episode 399. That means the next episode is episode 400. And I'm excited about that because this is a big episode, and I get to share episode 400 with my amazing co-host right here on the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. We got a big episode coming for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, that is the big dog, Annie O'Neal. She's back in your house.
What's up, everyone? We're standing on 400 episodes long, and I gotta give it up to my amazing co-host, Fun Concept, Alicon House, for everything that he has done on the screen and behind it, and everyone who has helped along the way. Our producer, you guys have been doing this for just shy of 6 years?
Yep. February will be 6 years of doing this.
You know what? The peaks and valleys, man. Like, I know the road hasn't always been easy, but you're still here.
Still going.
The structure of the household is going strong, Con.
Stronger than ever.
And you know what? Thank you for toughing it out, because if you didn't, I wouldn't have an episode to co-host with you. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
so
we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, absolutely. No. And I'm just so proud to be alongside just these go-getters, man. Every day we're just like keeping the wheel turning, and it's just awesome. Love it here. The household is mighty strong.
Going strong here, and we're going strong here with the big dog, divinely designed Annie O'Neal, and who knows voice I might be. We don't know who. So, hey, we appreciate you, man, popping in and, of course, being a part of In Your House. 400 episodes, almost 6 years, and we are stronger than ever. We could do, man, I feel like this team here could do another 20. So, boom, boom, boom. And all the opportunities that it's opened up for me over the years doing this podcast. Just something that I like to talk. I like to talk wrestling.
Yeah.
And man, I was talking so much wrestling. I remember this was about 6 years ago. It was getting me in trouble at work.
How did the idea of In Your House, how did that even come to fruition? Let's run it back a little bit. Give us some history of the origination of the network.
So I've always wanted to do something like open up a studio and help young artists like with music and stuff like that. And so I always had studio equipment around me. And then when I was younger, I had to sell it because I was young, didn't have a lot of money, and wasn't making enough money. Blah 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 blah. Sob story, sob story. But I once I got more stable, I started building my studio back up. And I think it's something that we've like touched on before, where it's like you got to just like go with the flow. You got to go with where the winds are taking you. And I started out doing music, and the music industry, it's not it's a tough industry. It really is. Even if you're good, even if you're really good,
Yeah.
if you don't know the people, then you don't know. But I found opportunity in wrestling, and I always watched wrestling. And then for me, content creating came natural because I come from a
Yeah.
family that was brought up in like Hollywood, and we were on like my dad. He was security on movie sets, and then my brother, he actually acted in movies and stuff like
That's
that. So I
so
was
cool.
always comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But then once again, like once I told you before the show, I was a huge fan of the Taz show, and I did some like YouTube videos, reviewing wrestling and things like that, but
Yeah.
nothing like that really took off. Then when I started the podcast, it was completely different. It felt like I came in a time where podcast was like super, super hot, and it was like that new, fresh thing. Now everybody listens to podcasts, but then I came in at like the right time, like the right time. And then In Your House, the name was perfect because it coincides obviously with what we're going to be watching later on this great
Yeah.
episode, which is a WWE In Your House episode. We'll get to that. But yeah, it all happened so organically. It was just putting pen to pad and doing it, and I put it out there and I just kept doing it, and I was bad at it. I've listened to the first episode of In Your House. It was awful, terrible, 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 but I just grew over time and kept
Yeah.
at it and kept going, and now here we are. And it's just a beautiful thing, and the opportunities that it's opened up have just been beautiful. It's given me some of the best moments in my life.
Mhm.
I love what I do here, and I love now that I get to give back to young content creators that are coming up and trying to figure out how to find success themselves, like yourself, like The Voice, Josh
Absolutely.
Joseph, like
Yeah.
Hypocrisy Jones. Now we're seeing guys like Kevin Calloway and Paragon, who are mostly wrestlers, but very smart and well spoken. Now they're starting to break into the podcast game. Grunmeister, who has a background in radio, coming into the podcast game and coming into his own. For me, starting it out, it was just about me watching wrestling and critiquing it and doing it for the fun of it. Now I have this responsibility on my shoulders to give back to podcasters that are trying to find success, and I'm very happy in that role. In Your House has been a blessing on my life.
Isn't it insane what could have been so different if one day you were like, "No, I'm not going to do this anymore. That's a
I've thought
wrap.
about it.
That's a wrap. We're not doing anything. I'm done. I'm done." Like all of these amazing things that happened because you were just so dedicated. Like you withstood the storm. Like you are the reason why things branched out the way that they did. Like, and now your son just dropped a single, didn't he?
He did. Yep. He's out there doing his thing, and that was fun. That was fun for me. I sit up there and listen to it, and just like remember the days when I was rapping at his
And it
age. So
started a
like,
new generation, Con. Like that
yeah,
is a testament to your success. It really is. Like you're the living
I'm
embodiment of tenacity, and here we are.
I'm happy to do it.
Heck yeah.
It's my purpose, and I'm just living in my purpose. So it makes me happy, brings me joy. And now
Yeah.
we're here together. Saturday is going to be great because we have
Dude.
Bad Blood coming up. Also, we have Emerge 82, Thrills and Chills. Ooh, I'll be there. Annie O'Neal will be there. Kevin Calloway will be there.
Yes.
And the Emerge World Heavyweight Champion, the world's most dangerous game, and podcaster Paragon will be there. So you guys want to be there. Come kick it with Team In Your House. Andy's going to be doing some amazing work backstage. I'm going to be doing my thing on commentary with the amazing John Gates, as we're going to call some of the best action that you're going to see in the Midwest. Divinely Designed Danny O'Neal is going to be interviewing some of the best talents in the world that you're going to see. It is going to be great. Emerge Wrestling, we'll talk a little bit about it later, because we have to go with some other great wrestling, and that's the biggest company in the world right now, and that's the World Wrestling Entertainment. And they're going to be putting on Bad Blood. They just had Monday Night Raw this past Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, myself and Annie O'Neal are going to be giving you guys our predictions for Bad Blood. Super excited. I've been ready for this episode for a long time, because not only do I get a chance to have an awesome prediction show with my co-host, I get a chance to, hey, watch wrestling with the homies, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing later on the second half of this episode. We're going to be watching 1997. We're going to take it back. We're going to go to the first ever Hell in a Cell match between, at that time, the WWF European champion Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid went up against Undertaker for the number one contendership for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. We're definitely going to get there, but now we got to talk some Monday Night Raw. Annie.
Yes, let's give it to them, Rawcon. They don't have a choice.
Yep, they're about
to
get
the show name.
You're about
they
to
know
get
what
it
they signed
one
up
way
for.
or the other. Yep, they're here. They are here, and it's going to be a great episode, ladies and gentlemen. And
400.
let's just for number 400. So let's just start it out here, because there's a lot of things moving with this, and I want to first take it straight out of the gate, because we're going to be watching it later. I want to talk about the Hell in a Cell match that's going to be going down this coming Saturday. And I wanted to bring this up for a reason, because it's just like me and you had said, I believe last week, they had one episode where Punk was on there and Drew was not, and the other episode Drew was on there and Punk was not. I loved what they did on Monday night, where they had them both in the ring in Hell in a Cell with all security around them. This was a heavy confrontation, Annie, and I loved it. I loved it. They both sold the seriousness of the cell.
They really did.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, but I want to get your thoughts as you saw these men coming into the ring. Drew McIntyre in the black suit and CM Punk staring a hole through him, and the way they're touching the cage, the way they're looking at the cage. What were you thinking when you were watching this segment between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre?
You know, I thought it was really awesome, the little details that were in place as we were watching before our final moments before Hell in a Cell. Just the, like you said, like the ways that they were touching the cage, like it's almost like it's still surreal for these men who have been going at each other's throats for what? How long now? 6, 7
been
months?
Like a year. It's been almost a year. It's closing in on a year.
Yeah. So like they're it's really coming into their awareness. Like two men go through that cage. Who knows what the outcome is going to be? Like I almost thought it was just really becoming even more real and visceral for the both of them. Because the dynamic between Punk and Drew, it's just been like this violent ping pong game between them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just really loved CM Punk's delivery. He said, "You will not be praying to God or the devil, but to CM Punk." Like
Loved
that's
that
on
line.
a whole new level of allegory. Like I don't know what has changed in CM Punk's disposition for this moment. I mean, but I wonder where Drew McIntyre sent him when he was basically just killing CM Punk before our very eyes. Like,
yeah,
that scene is still embedded into my neural pathways. Like
His thumbs put he put his thumbs in the man's eyes while he was bleeding from the mouth.
I mean, like, that's not something you typically do to your best friend. I mean, that's a very weird friendship, but I'm not knocking it. But well, and it was really interesting how McIntyre credited CM Punk for teaching him how to hate.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. Like,
powerful stuff.
Yeah, like, what are your final thoughts as we're waiting for them to step into the cage together?
My final thoughts are this segment got me excited for the match. I was already excited for the match.
Mm-hmm.
This really rose my excitement for it. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the mindset is it has to end Saturday. Done.
And it's like the watch along that we will be, watching on the second half. Like, it's October 5th, like 1997.
Yes.
It's almost
exactly.
to the day. So that's crazy just how intentional everything was, like, being planned in this match. Like, it's such an intense, like, throwback while giving them their, without trying to recreate what happened in the past, because you can never recreate Undertaker and HBK. There's no way.
No, you can't. And you're most definitely about to see that. But now, Annie, I have to ask you the hard question here, because this is a prediction show. This is a prediction show. I know. I have to ask, though, who will win this match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell? Annie, who do you think?
It's going to come down to the point where who was pushed further, and Drew McIntyre's actions pushed CM Punk well past the point of the 8th dimension. He didn't return the same person. So I think it's going to be Punk. My prediction is CM Punk is going to emerge the winner.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, especially about that what you said there about who was pushed further to the limit. It was most definitely CM Punk. I also think past that. I also think past this, what is going to happen next for CM Punk? Well, if he wins this match, you got to think he's going to be next in line at some point for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think you should push him in that direction by winning this match. I think the story here for Drew McIntyre is how he's going to pick the pieces back up. What type of Drew McIntyre, how far are we going to see Drew McIntyre descend into madness after he loses to CM Punk? And that's exactly why I agree with you. I think at the end of the night, CM Punk is going to be standing tall. But just like any Hell in a Cell match, both of those men are going to leave a piece of themselves with the cell.
I mean, they're going to have to. I mean, both of these men, they just the bloodthirst they hold for each other. Like, they will stop at no lengths to maim each other. And this promo really, really elevated us prior to watching Bad Blood. And I think it's exactly what it needed to revamp the excitement going into this PLE.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of good things to revigorate my excitement for this PLE for sure. And we're going to move on here to the next story, because we have to get really heavy into this Judgment Day storyline. And I know you've been the one following this and kind of chronicling what's going on with the Judgment Day storyline. I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on it right now? Because the window lickers over there on Monday night, they made a really good point, and I was listening to it today, and I was like, man, they're right, and they have a good point. And Liv Morgan is the most over women's heel in the company right now. I mean,
She is.
she's far and away right now the heat that she generates. And it's crazy how it happened. Now Liv Morgan is on a different level. We'll get to the predictions of the two matches because we have two matches that involve Judgment Day: Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, and then Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship with Dominic hanging from the cage. I want to ask you: we saw Dominic almost get, well, he got thrown into the cage by Rhea Ripley. We saw Liv Morgan and her running off like the chicken shit heel that she was, and then
I was
come
laughing
back.
the entire time.
Yes. So I want to get your thoughts. Where are you at with this storyline right now in terms of how they're all intertwining into each other? Now it's broken down into two separate matches, but still with Judgment Day involvement.
I really think that it's a really good point to leave off with right before Bad Blood. Before we saw Mommy and we saw Damien come out, Judgment Day really, we saw new edge. We saw them really solidified as Judgment Day 3.0.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really bold for basically Finn to just be so open with his motives and, not really calling to mind where he thinks Damien would be standing in proximity.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was really interesting and kind of foolish because you're just opening yourself up for Damien to get an upper hand, which he did. And I thought one thing to Liv Morgan's credit, she was so ecstatic and so proud to be the home wrecking person that she was.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
At least she owned it. At least she owned it. And I've known a lot of women who have done some underhanded things. And when their deeds come to light, they lie, they deflect, they project. No, Liv Morgan, she was all too happy. And I'm like, really? You're proud? You're so proud of what you have and what you've done to earn it? I mean, like, Queen Shit Goblin, really? Like, I don't know if being on a revenge tour is something personally to be proud of, but hey, she owned it.
She sure did. My God.
She got what she wanted and she wasn't afraid to take it. At any cost it took, she didn't care.
She didn't. It honestly, in my opinion, Liv Morgan has told one of the best stories in the WWE in the last year. I mean, I know it's like I'm at a point, and this is what I'm about to ask you before we get to the predictions, because we got to move on to the next thing. Is where are you at with this feud? Do you want it to end after this, or do you want to see a new wrinkle come in there? Because I have a thought myself.
I really love how this storyline has been so rich, but how many times are we going to see Judgment Day coming out and then being attacked by Rhea and Damien? I need something new. I need to see a new layer added, because this cat and mouse game, like, it's only substantial for so long before it gets stale, and I don't want it to reach that point, but I need something new. And maybe we'll see that with Jey Uso becoming the IC champion, but in the interim, I need something new.
Sure. So may I suggest something? I've brought it up on the show before. What if? Okay, so let me just go. I'm going to go right into my prediction here because I'm going to be bold. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. No Dominic Mysterio to assist Liv Morgan
Right.
because he'll be in the shark cage. But what if an old ally came back and helped out Liv Morgan and screwed over Rhea Ripley? Raquel Rodriguez comes back and joins the Judgment Day. Liv Morgan retains. I'm putting my cards on the table right now. I don't care if I'm wrong. Because if I'm right, I'm gonna look damn smart.
I mean, but that opens the door for so many different
A
possibilities.
lot of different
And
elements.
that would make it so rich and revive the storyline because
Yep.
I like all of the moving parts of the Judgment Day. Even though I hate them individually, like it makes me pay attention. It evokes emotion. Like
Yep.
I like Judgment Day 3.0. Like I'm a huge lover of the antagonist.
Yeah.
I love chaos. So I think it would just add so much more nuance. And what do you think? I mean, do you think with that possibility in mind?
Man.
Yeah, he is right. I like it. I like it. But do you think that Liv and Raquel could form a women's tag team?
Absolutely. And this growing women's tag team division that I noticed on Monday Night Raw is now really starting to thrive. Absolutely. Give Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill more contenders. We're seeing them get more time on Monday, more promo time for the women. They were on a couple different segments. Who I made my tag team of the year last year, Life of the Party, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Great to see them back on TV and getting time again.
I knew
And
you'd
doing
be happy with that one.
Oh yeah, love them. I love them. Then you still have Pure Fusion Collective in the mix, who I don't like the name, but I do like them as a faction a whole lot. I mean, there's just so much moving right now and so many different options, even with the possibility that we saw on the Wyatt promo that maybe Alexa Bliss is coming back. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who have history as tag team champions before, coming together and being in playing the roles for the Wyatts. Yes, please. This tag team division and women's tag team division, which was dead in the water, nothing, going nowhere, is now starting to thrive now.
And I love how just a few short weeks ago we were saying we need something to spark the women's tag division, and the seeds were being planted beyond our knowing, and we got what we wanted. I love getting what I want. Do you think Liv Morgan is a strong enough champion to hold not only the women's world championship and potentially be a women's tag team champ?
Yes,
you think she can do both? Why is that? Make a case.
Because with Raquel by her side, she can't fail. Raquel is going to be the one that keeps the title on her, that helps her win the women's tag team championships. We can see there's a real possibility where we can see Liv Morgan hold two titles at the same time. I think that's a real possibility, especially if my prediction comes true and Raquel does return.
And it would even make her jettison more into the heel verse.
Oh yeah, the people would hate her.
Right. And I think like the hate behind Liv Morgan is increasing, and I thought that was really apparent in this episode of Raw.
Yeah, yep. That's OG Tony. That's what I'm saying. Big Mommy Cool Diesel. She will be the Diesel to Liv Morgan's Shawn Michaels. Exactly what I'm seeing. Exactly. So yeah, most definitely. But I gotta ask you though, because we do have to move forward here. Your prediction: Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dom in the Shark Cage, women's title on the line.
You know, with Dom being in the cage and not being able to intervene, I don't think Liv could win it on her own. I don't think she's strong enough to contend with Rhea without the assistance of outside interference.
Right.
But with someone potentially coming back, I think that's a huge possibility. And I'm not going to leave it to WWE to give everything to us that we want.
Right.
Because they love dangling carrots and then taking it back.
Oh, yeah.
So, unfortunately, and as much as I hate to predict with um, the utmost disgust, I think Liv is going to retain.
I think she finds a way. I think everybody's expecting her to lose. I
I
think
don't think so.
everybody's expecting her to lose. And I think that WWE has proven that if you think we're gonna zig, we're actually gonna zag. I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to zag because I think everybody's like nobody's gonna help Liv. She's done for, So I think this is a great possibility to bring somebody like Raquel back, give her meaning right off the bat. Soon as she returns, I like it. It's perfect. But
And
I do
instead
have
of
to
her
ask
being the girl that smiles and she has big back muscles,
the
which
back.
I
Yeah.
love, by the way,
Oh
but
yeah.
that
No,
only
not
goes
hating
so
on her.
far.
But
That
she's
only goes.
doing the thing to her. She's like, it was Pat back. I don't know if you watch SpongeBob, but she's like, this is Pat back. Like there was, like that's what it was. I was like, what are you? Why? So I don't know, but I would love to see her come back and be this amazing enforcer. I think that role will fit her perfectly. So I got to ask you about the harder one here, and that harder
Mhm.
one is Damian Priest and Finn Balor. We saw Finn utterly decimate Damian Priest, but that was with help from the Judgment Day. Who do you got in this one-on-one match?
And this one, I think it's gonna be Finn. I don't want it to be Finn. I want my boy Damien to win, but I gotta be real. I gotta go with my logic here because you know what? Damien might go the distance the first 3/4 of the match, but I think Finn is gonna come out, find a way to come out on top.
Yeah, I do. And honestly, I think Finn needs to win more than
I
Damian.
do.
I
I agree.
truly do. I truly do, Annie. I think he needs to win more, and I think Damian can take the loss, and it will not hurt him because he's a former world heavyweight champion. He's established himself as one of the upper echelon guys in the company. I think Finn it really needs a win against somebody like that, and I don't think that I don't think that it'll hurt Damien at
I
all. I
agree.
I truly don't. I
I
truly
agree.
truly don't.
I think he needs another underhanded victory to really establish him as this heartless asshole he's
Yeah,
portraying.
because that's what he's trying to portray.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what he's trying to portray, right? That he's a heartless asshole. So most definitely. But there's a couple things we do got to sprinkle over before we continue the predictions because we do have to get to the watch along here in a little bit. Um, Xavier Woods picks up a victory by unmasking Rey Mysterio by accident. And then later on, he cost Kofi Kingston a match against Chad Gable by a miscommunication. This is one thing. I know it's not going into bad blood, but it's starting to really unfold a story here. What are your thoughts on where we're going out with the New Day?
I thought this was really interesting. Like unmasking one of the most beloved characters in all of the WWE universe.
Yeah.
That had heel written all over it. But I don't think it's going to pan out that way. But it was just such an important detail that is just adding to the inevitable implosion of New Day. But and just how that match ended, like the shoe ended up on the other foot because of the last two matches that involved New Day, it was it cost them by distraction. You know, Kofi accidentally intervened and took the ref out of the match last week, and then like the same thing almost happens, but it's caused by Woods. I just thought that was so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that really is starting to really catch my eye. I'm gonna definitely be paying attention more to this because there's only two ways it can go. Somebody's turning heel or Big E's got to return. And we're definitely going to unfold that a little bit more as the weeks go on and it starts to pan out more. But I also wanted to talk about what happened at the main event. And that was not only did we see just utter annihilation in this last monster standing match, uh, but also we saw the ring implode. But then also we saw the return of Seth Rollins. We got a lot in this main event. I was thoroughly entertained by it. I
Did.
think it was the perfect time to bring Rollins back. And screw over Bronson Reed, who I thought was going to win that match. I thought he was actually going to take Strowman out, and we'd see Strowman off TV, and it would make Bronson Reed look like the big monster. But they took this opportunity to bring back Seth Rollins. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was a really interesting point in time for Rollins to make his return. I honestly didn't expect it. Did you expect that at all? Did you anticipate how Rollins would return?
No, I didn't. I can honestly say I did not see that coming.
And without Rollins intervening, what do you think the outcome of that match would have been? Do you think Strowman would have been the winner if he didn't get that assist from Rollins?
In my mind, if you don't have Seth Rollins return, Bronson Reed wins. That would be the direction that I would have took. That's where I thought it would have went in the first place, honestly, because I feel like in my mindset we're building Bronson Reed. You know what I'm saying? Like we're building him up. So that's where my mind was at. But I was happy to see Seth back, and I'm happy to see him back in the current landscape, because the landscape that he was in even just 2 months ago. And remember, the only thing he came back to really do was be a special guest referee, and then he was gone again after that. The landscape from when he's been wrestling on a regular basis is completely different now. So to see where he's going to fit into it now is going to be very, very interesting. But it definitely starts with Bronson Reed.
And I really thought that the rivalry between Strowman and Bronson Reed was really neatly wrapped and tied with a bow. I really think Braun Strowman benefited from that win. I really, really, really did. So I think he needed that win more, but also Bronson Reed, he benefited from that loss because another storyline was born because of it.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with that, most definitely. And it's just keeping everything moving. Once again, this was a good Monday Night Raw. I got a chance to see a Zoe Stark match. She went up against Lyra Valkyria, and I enjoy watching Zoe Stark work. I'm a big fan of what she does. And there was that. And once again, it was just a good Monday Night Raw where we saw the storyline moving with the New Day. We saw everything going on with the Judgment Day, Last Monster Standing, everything. I'm liking where it's moving. We're seeing little sprinkles. We might see the Viking Raiders come back. That's another thing. And we're definitely going to cover all of that. But we still have a couple of predictions before we move on and do our watch along. So we have to talk a little bit of SmackDown, just because there's a couple of matches that are from SmackDown, and one of them just came official. That's Nia Jax versus Bayley. If you're following everything that's going on with SmackDown, Bayley defeated her friend Naomi in a number one contenders match, and now she's going to be going up against Nia Jax for the women's championship. Who do you think is going to win in that match?
I think it's going to be Nia. I don't know if Bayley is going to have it within her to win it back. I like Nia's reign.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Nia.
Yeah, I say I'm with you in the realm of that. She's gonna retain. Nia Jax is gonna retain. I don't think her story is over yet. I really don't. It'd be interesting to see what would happen if Naomi screwed over Bayley and cost her the title opportunity.
I know. That was my next question for you. Like, do you think that this loss against her friend, Do you think this is inevitably going to give us the way for Naomi to make a heel turn?
I think it is, and I think it's time. I love Naomi's work. I'm a huge fan of everything that she represents. I loved her run in TNA. She really showed me the locker room presence that she is, because not many times do you see somebody go to the indies and go to one brand and stay loyal to that brand. And she was pretty well exclusive to TNA for a long time during her indie run. I mean, that was impressive to me, that she could have took bookings anywhere else, but she was like, you know what, I'm good over here in TNA. I thought that was great. I think this is a great opportunity to see her flip and do something else, maybe something that we haven't seen Naomi do before. I like it. I dig it. I enjoy Naomi's work and have for a long time. To answer your question, OG, I don't think we see a cash in, not yet. I think they're going to
Nope,
sit on
not
that
yet.
for a little bit. I they're telling a really good story right now with that. But yeah, I'm with you on the side that
Starting to
uh
falter. It is. It is. But I think that storyline where Tiffany cashes in, I think it needs to cook some more.
I agree. No, 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. But I also wanted to bring in, before we take a break, and then we're going to do our last prediction during our watch along. Uh, Everything going on with Sami Zayn and Gunther. Sammy, this really got deep. It really did. I don't want to take too much time on it, but it really got deep because Gunther, we started to see more of what makes Gunther tick. And one thing is that his father, feeling like he lost, but lost to somebody that's beneath him, and feeling disappointment from his father. We actually got a chance to see humanized Gunther, and it humanized him so much that he's like, you know what, you got your match. They're gonna have it next week. This storyline is starting to cook in my mind, and it's been cooking for a while. It's honestly been cooking since this last year's WrestleMania. But what do you think about where we're going before we go to break?
It was really interesting to see, like you said, that more humanized version of Gunther. I have my own daddy issues. So it was interesting to see the daddy issues of someone who is so strong and domineering. Like, we got to peek behind the curtain and see what makes this man tick. Why is this man the way he is? Why is he so far driven to be excellent, to exude that prestige? Like, why? What has shaped him? And it's just so interesting because, like, Sami Zayn is a true foil to the champion. I really think so. And Sami Zayn, like, he is that embodiment of resilience. Like, he doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, how many times did he have to get to Gunther and say, and keep not banging on that door until he got the result he wanted? Like,
Yeah.
And he did so without really resulting to the insults, the defamatory remarks. He didn't have to play that hand in order to get what he wanted. And you know what? If not Sami, then who else?
Yeah, good point. Sami Zayn to me is like, he's like a psychologist. Like, the way he comes at you with just logic, like he did with Jey Uso. He was like, Jey, you're getting mistreated. This is crap. This is BS. And Jey was like, you know what? You're right. He knows how to get his way psychologically. He knows those points to hit to be able to get people to think. And I think that's special about the Sami Zayn character. And next week's Raw is going to be really good because we have the IC title getting defended. Xavier Woods is going to get a shot at it. We have Sami Zayn. He's going to be facing on for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we're going to talk about it all next week on the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. But now we got to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to do our watch along. During that watch along, we're going to give you our final prediction on the Bloodline, Roman and Cody. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back.
Yo, what is up out there? My name's Hypocrisy Jones from the In Your House podcast and the Kokomo Press, bro, and I'm here to tell you about a party, bro. November 30th in Kokomo, Indiana, it's going down at Outhouse Records as the In Your House Wrestling Podcast hosts a live house party, bro. This is to celebrate and watch WWE Survivor Series War Games, and bro, we're about to make it lit. This is going to be the best wrestling party that you have ever been a part of in your life, bro. We're going to have wrestling games. We're going to have wrestling karaoke, wrestling themed costume contests, bro. We're going to have prizes to give away, over $1,000 worth of them, bro. It's about to be lit. Kokomo, Indiana, November 30th, Outhouse Records. Be there for the party, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In Your House, specifically the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. And ladies and gentlemen, you saw it there. Big house party coming up November 30th. Come and watch Survivor Series War Games with Team In Your House. It's going to be our first ever live podcast, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of music, a lot of games, a lot of prizes. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to be there. Divinely Designed Danny O'Neal's going to be there. Kevin Calloway is going to be there. The voice Josh Joseph, Hypocrisy Jones, Kokomo, Indiana. Come check us out and watch wrestling with us. It is going to be a great, great time, Annie.
6 years in the making, Con. 6 years in the
Yes.
freaking making. Like, not many people get to have their cake and eat it too, but we're feasting, friend. We are
Yes,
feasting.
we are.
Heck
Yes, we
yes.
are. Facts. And we're about to feast on this watch along because we've got a
Yes.
great episode here for you guys. So we are here. It is, if you guys are on the Peacock app, which I assume a lot of you guys are. If not, maybe you're on YouTube or something. But if you are on Peacock, WWE In Your House, Bad Blood, 1997. It's going to be 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 42 seconds. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, #1 contendership for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, and that's going to be great. We're going to get a little backstory in there too for y'all, so I'll let y'all jump into that. That's why I stopped it where I stopped it at, but we're going to jump into it. While we're doing that, we're going to give our last prediction as well, but we're going to start it here in a second. Annie, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Awesome. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. Here we go. Look at you. Look at young Shawn Michaels. Completely
I know,
different.
right?
Crazy.
Like, who is this person?
So while this
Totally
is going
different
on,
person than who he is now.
oh yeah. So while this is going on, I gotta ask you, who do you got in what I presume is going to be the main event? Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, the Avengers of WWE, going up against the Bloodline.
I think the bad guys have to win one more time. I think more obstacles have to be put in place for Cody and Roman to overcome. I'm gonna go with the Bloodline on this one.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So I think we got to have one where we're on different sides. I think we've agreed mostly on all of them. So I think this will be the one right here. I think the Avengers are going to win. I think Cody and Roman will win. They'll prove that they can trust each other, and I think that we see something lead into the Survivor Series War Games.
And I, you know what? No matter the outcome, like, yes, I think this is definitely going to give us the next things that are going to bleed over into Survivor Series.
Yeah. And now back
I
to this
love
watch
the
along.
sun-in product and HBK's hair. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Holy 90s.
Yeah, this is a crazy time. First ever Hell in a Cell match. We'd never seen it before.
And I think this was I was reading up on this match in particular, and I think this was the last in-ring appearance as for Vince McMahon as this reporter in figure before he
Yes.
became Mr.
Mr.
McMahon.
McMahon.
Oof. Have you ever taken a chair shot?
I have not taken the chair shot
Oh.
yet.
Holy CTE.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't care back then.
They didn't. You know what? And they didn't know what the repercussions were. Concussions, but
Yeah. Yeah.
no way. No way. You know, there were times I debated about being a wrestler myself,
Yeah.
but seeing like chair shots like that, nope. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, it just makes you want to be like, I don't
Couldn't be
want
me.
I don't want no part of this.
Not me. I do enough dangerous things. I'm good. I'm good.
Look at Sergeant Slaughter. I believe he was the commissioner at this time. Checking to see if nobody's hiding under the ring.
Smart, smart.
All right, they're bringing the cage down.
I think they could be a little more thorough, but
No, I think he only checked one side.
yeah, there are 3 more sides to check, sir.
Somebody could be lurking under there.
Wow, what a horseshoe. What a horseshoe's working. Wow.
Oh, there's Triple H. And there's China.
Representing Judas Priest. And I think this was actually the last pay-per-view of the new generation era.
I think you are right. I think you are right. Man, 1997. A lot of things changing in the World Wrestling Federation at that time. DX was coming up. I think, yeah, that Stone Cold was doing his thing. It was just completely different atmosphere. You know what's crazy is I'm
Yeah.
looking at these crowds and how packed they were. Before we started, for some reason, I'm not sure why, it
Yeah.
was playing the 2010 Over the Limit pay-per-view. And then for some reason it was Chris Jericho and The Miz going up against the Hart Dynasty in a tag match. And man, the seats were so empty and the crowd was so dead. And it just reminded me why 2010 was such a, like, crowd wise. It was good. There was
Yeah.
good wrestling happening,
Right.
but like people weren't engaged in it. And now seeing it back in 97 and then seeing it today, it's like, man, people are nuts about this stuff again.
And you know what? I think this is a really the present moment that we're in now. It's such a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is. It's just crazy how things ebb and flow. They gain popularity and then they lose it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Because I'm telling you, there's so many new fans that are coming. Undertaker's about to come out. But there's so many new fans that are like loving wrestling right now. Then it's crazy for me to see personally. Just because, like, I remember back in 2009, 2000, people was like, wrestling, you like that stuff? You know, now it's like people were starting to, their opinions are turning around again. It's just crazy to see it happen in real time like that.
And you know, especially like during this time, like in 1997, people didn't know what was real and what wasn't. Like,
Yeah.
kayfabe was still alive and cooking. Like, and I feel like we're emerging into an era now where people are able to suspend that belief again and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Look at Undertaker. Look at the presence.
I'm getting chills just watching.
I've got a chance to stand in for to be there for one Undertaker entrance. That was
Yeah.
2008 SummerSlam, and man, it really is like watching him come out is crazy.
And like consistently through the years, he still maintains that supernatural persona.
Yeah,
Like he's gonna take your soul.
through many generations of wrestling, it's
Yeah.
crazy to think that he's still doing that. That he can still do that.
Was there any iteration of Undertaker that you've seen that kind of missed the mark for you?
That's a good question. I mean, there's so many different iterations. I mean, I like the American Badass. I liked the Phenom character. Um, I liked maybe like if I have to pick, just because that he's like my favorite wrestler. I love
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick, I guess the early Dead Man days, because I guess it was just like a little cheesy a little bit, like, oh, this guy's dead, he's a dead Undertaker or something like. So it felt a little cheesy at the time, but even then, like, it fit because that was a time of like over the top crazy gimmicks in wrestling, so it fit in that time. But like the way he evolved after that, I don't think there was really an iteration that I didn't like. I mean, his last few years wrestling, I was like, oh man, just with the utmost respect, because you're my favorite, just retire already. But I mean, as far as, yeah, the early years because it was goofy, and then the later years because it was just like you needed to stop like 5 years ago. Like, you're just hurting your legacy at this point. So I guess if I have to pick, it'd be those two iterations, but like everything in between I loved.
It's kind of crazy to see Shawn Michaels looking afraid.
Yeah, I mean, at
Yeah,
this time he was more built as like a chicken shit type of heel. Like he won,
right.
he did whatever he had to do to win.
Yeah, I mean, like, eventually you will meet the reckoning. I
Yeah.
mean, you can only go so far in this lifetime without meeting those consequences. So, I mean, oh, he's just pleading for help from the outside. Like, no, bud, you're going to hell. You're going to
Yeah.
hell in a cage. So, for our friends watching, what was the point of contention between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels during this? What was the bad blood?
So basically, why are we having this match?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, this is back at a time where DX was kind of like taking over. Of course, it was for the number one contendership
Mm-hmm.
for the WWE champion, or for the WWF championship at the time. But like, really at this time, it was just it's. I mean, it had got to a point where he was climbing through the card. Shawn Michaels was climbing through the card. Undertaker was established. And I'm trying to remember everything that
Mm-hmm.
happened in that storyline, because it just feels like it was forever ago. But I mean, at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it was for a number one contendership for the title.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it was Shawn Michaels hit Undertaker with a chair.
Yes, he smashed him with the chair in the head. Undertaker
He
was
meant to hit
bleeding
Bret Hart.
profusely.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think each gained from this match? Even though obviously there was a winner.
Well, yeah, there was obviously a winner, but like, I mean, we saw Undertaker. Basically, Shawn Michaels went on and he would fight for the title, but then we saw Undertaker gain a story out of it. Of course, if you know what happens at the end of this match, a completely different story comes. a debut happens, and this is really where I started watching the WWF. Is like the
Yes.
night after
Okay.
this.
So did you watch this match when when it aired?
I didn't. I didn't because
Okay.
this was on pay-per-view, so I
Sure.
didn't watch it
Yeah.
live. But I literally, so here's the story of it is I was watching WCW. I was a big WCW. That's
Yeah.
why the details of the storyline are foggy to me because I was
Sure.
big on WCW
Okay.
at that time. But then I went over my friend's house uh, the night after Bad Blood, and he had WWF on. I was like, "Why don't you turn on WCW?" And he was like, "No, I watch WWF." And I was like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know any of the stories or anything. So he's like, "Why don't you just sit down and watch it?" So I sat down and watched it. And it was literally the night after this show, Bad Blood, when I started watching WWE. And that's a true story.
Was that the point in time where WCW was really like killing the ratings
Yeah, I believe it
over
was. Yeah.
WWF?
Yeah. I think this was around the time because this is around the time where I think the ratings flipped when Mankind became champion and they never went back.
You know, I just love how slow and methodical Undertaker is in his movements, but
Yeah, he
he's
was always
terrifying.
great with that.
He's like, it's purposeful. It's like, oh my god, I don't want this guy near me. Oh, that's a lot of leg for a leg drop.
Yeah. I mean, look how long Undertaker is.
Oof.
And he's always crisp with those right hands.
God, and just the way that Shawn Michaels just
Ooh.
sells for someone, it's insane. I don't know if he gets a lot of credit for that. I'm sure he does, but oof. I've never seen this match, by the way.
Oh,
So
you've never seen it? Okay.
I've never
Okay.
seen this match. Yep. God, he's just Undertaker's just picking apart HBK
Yeah.
piece by piece by piece by piece. So did you watch WCW and WWF in conjunction with each other?
I
How did
I did not. I
you
watched
didn't?
just WCW. It
Oh,
wasn't that
okay.
I didn't like WWF. It
Sure.
was just that when I started watching
Yeah.
wrestling, it was WCW, so I was loyal to that. And then
Gotcha.
when I actually got into WWF, which once
Yeah.
again that was like my friends and like my neighbors. They lived
Right.
in the apartment like across from us in California. I would go over there and it's like if I'm going to their house, I got to watch what's on their TV, you
Sure.
know. So I did that, and I ended up like, wow, I love this. So at that point, that's when I started going back and forth. So that's why I didn't even watch this match specifically
Yeah.
until like later, like much later on in my life.
Yes. So was there a specific point in time where when you started watching WWE that's like, wow, I'm going to start watching this? Was there anything that crystallized that for you?
WCW died.
Sure. Sure. I mean, like, it gets absorbed. What else do you have to watch? Like, there's only one option.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of other options.
Sure.
I was blessed to be able to watch so much different wrestling over the
Yeah.
years, whether it be TNA or Ring of
Mhm.
Honor or something
Mhm.
like that. But like at the end of the day, like like there was a point where it was hard to find that stuff. You know, like if it wasn't on TV, it's like how do I get to it? How do I find it? I wasn't looking for it like that. But like WCW really brought me in, and then WWF is what really like that's what everybody at school was watching. That's what everybody was talking about. You had your WCW kids, but everybody was in the Attitude Era. So like I just vibed with that. But like I always liked alternative styles of wrestling. I guess I
Sure.
started out like that because WCW was the alternative.
Mhm.
But then uh, if it's good, I'll watch it. I'll leave it at that. If it's good, I'll watch it. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care if it's like like the production of uh TNA or the production of like ECW back in the
Right.
90s. Lucha Underground was wonderful. Like, but if it's good viewing, I will watch it. Good viewing and good wrestling, I'll watch it.
I mean, some people don't even scratch the surface because it's the competition. I mean, you close yourself off to so many things you might potentially enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm glad I went and did that. This match is continuing. Look at the size of the cell. It should still stay that big. I mean, it is that big, but like I just always loved that structure. It was always different from a cage, like the cage they have the sides
Mhm.
on the ring to where you
Right.
actually can't get out of the ring. The thing that always that sell from HBK, he was so good at selling back in the day. But the thing that always set it apart was how they was able to go outside of the ring and actually have
Right.
interactions with that cage and actually just use it as more of a weapon. I know you can use the cage
Yes.
as a weapon, but I enjoy the integration of the cage, being able to grind somebody's face into it or something like that. And then, of course, when they opened up the cage and ended up going on top of it, that added a whole new element.
I mean, is the cage that is used now, is that enclosed?
It is, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's enclosed. It's
Okay.
enclosed. I
But
think the
at
only things that have an opening over it are the
mm,
cage and now the War Games match. Because the War
okay.
Games match
Okay.
didn't use the War Game match used to have a roof on it
Yeah.
back in the day, but now it
Mhm.
doesn't. And
Okay.
that's so the participants can do crazy spots and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always had the enclosing over it.
And you bring up a good point because this cage, it allows them the room to move around the enclosure. Like the fans who are sitting right there, they're involved in a whole new way. Like, and if that cage was not present, those fans would be dead right there.
Yeah.
It saved their lives, saved them from a lawsuit.
All right. All right. Oh, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna hold off here. We're gonna pause it. And because of time constraints, we are going to continue this match because I want to make sure that we're able to feel that vibe and get right into it and just jump right into it. But also we want to leave you guys on a hook here because a lot of you guys here have not seen me and Annie watch a match together. We're going to finish this up. It's going to be awesome. But once again, time constraints, this and that. We hate to do it, but full transparency to our viewers out there, and we're definitely going to come back and give you that work. But this was a great episode here, great 400th episode of In Your House, another time where we do our thing. And man, I'm excited. I am excited because we're going to finish this awesome watch along. We're going to have Bad Blood this Saturday. It's going to be great. And then I get a chance to hang out with the big dog, Annie O'Neal, this coming Saturday at Merge. And we'll definitely talk more about that as the days come and move forward. But Annie, we got to get out of here. We got to call this an episode. Go ahead and plug anything that you need to plug.
Friday, I will be at FU Wrestling. I will be hosting the pre-show with my friend Clinton. We will be running down the card before it starts, and we get invaded by JCW. So that's going to be fun. And Saturday, I will be in Indiana.
Yeah.
Making my Emerge debut. And I will be alongside my co-host, Alicon. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yes.
We're going to make a movie.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Yes,
so,
it is going to be great.
How about you? Tell everyone what you're up to.
Most definitely will. Of course, this Saturday, I will be at Emerge Wrestling, Emerge 82 Thrills and Chills. That's going to be great. Great main event that we're going to be seeing between the Emerge World Heavyweight Champion Paragon and top-notch Jason Hodge, TNA superstar. That's going to be great. We have an Outbreak Championship match between Matt Diesel and the Champion Lord Crew tonight, 7 o'clock, over on the Emerge page. I do an interview with Matt Diesel as we talk about his number one contendership and his mindset going into his match with Lord Crew. But of course, you guys already know I'm going to be right here doing my thing at In Your House with my amazing team. The great co-host I have here, the big dog, divinely designed Annie O'Neal, doing great things. And I appreciate everything that everybody here has done to help us build to this 400th episode. Once again, we're going to tap back in on that watch along. We gave you guys our predictions. We talked a little Monday Night Raw. And once again, next week, we'll come back and do it again. And who knows, we might have a lot of content for you guys because I'll get a chance to hang out with Annie this Saturday. So it is going to be great. Just watch everything that we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, because you already know that we put in the work, and it's HOWSC. And that's exactly what that W stands for, is work. So for Divinely Designed Annie O'Neal, for Hypocrisy Jones, for the Grunmeister, for the voice Josh Joseph, for Kevin Calloway, for the world's most dangerous podcaster Paragon, I am Alicon, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend to hop on this bandwagon, get on, or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We as them boys in your house making wrestling.